the skating allows us to get in the position. And that position is composed of having a proper angle and then your depth and squareness. My little on-ice presentation over there that all four of you showed up to, you guys learned a little bit of that. So let's take a look at some game action and see what we notice. I'm going to call out a few people on this too, so you guys got to listen, or not listen actually, watch. I look at this, okay, I see it, extremely important to have superior skating skills and edge work. Bob Brodsky's unbelievable. Jonathan Quick, unbelievable. In fact, you look at most NHL guys and they're sick when it comes to it. Incredible balance, the edge work, the power and trust in his movement. You also saw, getting into a little bit more, a great comment here was the scanning. Always the on-ice awareness, the ability to scan his head and read the play. And then, what's incredible is the amount of time that you spend getting yourself into the optimal position. So that position, again, composed of angle, depth, and squareness. But the amount of movement that took place without actually getting a shot or having to execute that actual technical save. So I've been in situations where all of a sudden, your goalie had a 20-shot night, and he's like, he's good to go tomorrow. He had a late night. Well, just because he had 20 shots doesn't mean it was an easy night, right? He might have a lot of movement. The puck might have been in your zone a lot. They might have just, missed the net, or your team was great at blocking shots. But there's still a ton of movement, right? And we spend all this time getting into the right spot to give us a chance to make that save. So your workload far outweighs the actual shot count. So how do we work on these skills? Well, I've always been the type of person that likes to look outside the box. To me, that's fun. You guys are here because that's probably your mindset as well. And you can work on the A to B, B to C movement. So in goaltending, it's like, okay, I'm on my post, I get to the top, move back to the post, and just do your repetitive things like that. That's fantastic, that's great. How many guys here have seen like awesome hockey school goalies, but then you put them out on the ice and you're like, whoa, where'd he go? Right? We see that a lot. So thinking outside the box here, come up with your own ideas. You don't need to think of goalies as robots. So even a non-goalie guy can help develop a goalie's skating abilities. Use a little creativity to get a goalie really feeling and trusting their edges. So what I did with these NHL guys is you take them out and, for the first, I would say half an hour of every practice, we just do skating. And then for the first ice session, we just do skating with no pucks or anything. And what I want them to do is really start feeling their edges. Because I find that we suck at it, right? There's just not a lot of guys that do it. Maybe it's because the goalies start going and being a goaltender too early. Back in the old days, like you would actually play out. Now all of a sudden a guy is 6 and his dad's like, you're a goalie. The kid's a goalie for the rest of his life, So you have to give him the tools to be able to get better at some of those things. And if he's just doing strictly like robotic A to B, B to C movements, maybe you're not going to get that. So even the NHL guys can develop this. And what I'm trying to do, and I'll show you a video here, is get them to lower their center of gravity and really start trusting their blades. I tell them, it's kind of corny, I say, hey, get intimate with the ice, right? Feel the ice. Really feel where your balance points are. And so what we do is we end up doing things like this. We get them out of their comfort zone. And this helps us establish that better body balance and body control. Okay, so here's some of the drills that I'll work with guys on. so that's just little different skating drills that you've seen in the past. But again, is it any different from what you're preaching with players? Ultimately, you want to build a guy so he has so much confidence in his blades. Doesn't matter what position he's in. He knows he can get to a spot. And I think where the game is going and needs to go is, again, especially for goaltenders, let's get away from being robots. The game doesn't always just work like this, right? We may be down, we might have gotten hit, now all of a sudden we have to recover. So having that trust on your edges and your blades is everything to me. Here's a couple other just creative drills, just a couple seconds from each one. Okay, so better edge work leads to better balance, leads to better body balance, body alignment. So positioning, this is the next step. So now we can skate. Now we got a positioning, where and why. So skating allows us to get into position. Now we need to understand angle, depth, and squareness. And I'm just going to go over a couple things. I covered a little bit on the other ice sheet, but this is just so you guys get an understanding of like what are we trying to do back there. We're not just, there is some type of game plan behind this. So what does it mean to be in goalie position? Well, the first one's obviously on angle. The second thing we're going to look at is the squareness, and then the third thing, which is depth. Okay. So that's our goal, ultimately, is to get to our spot, get stopped and set, and be square to the puck. If we've done those things, we gave ourselves a chance. And that's all we're looking to do. It is a bit of a science, though. Like, we call it box control. And really, at the higher levels, all it is math, right? So I had little Jonas Enroth at the end of the season, and this guy's game is just all math. It's if the puck is here, I'm standing here. If the puck is shot from this angle, I know I have to move, 2 to 3 inches. He will never overmove on a shot, because what happens if you overmove, then you open up. Now you create holes, or your whole game starts opening up. So for them, it's math, and it goes down into the tiniest details. So we talk about box control, and for those guys that don't understand or know what this is, that's, if the puck is at the end of the stage, and I basically, say if I'm in the butterfly right now, and how I can box control is the space behind me, the net that's available, correct? And how I can take away more space is by pushing my hands forward. Anybody seen Jonathan Quick, he'll come across and he'll almost smother you with pucks, right? Takes away the angle of the puck. So that's when we start talking about box control. There's a time we can be aggressive, there's a time where we want to stay tight and just start leaning. And really understanding the net space behind us is huge. So we actually go into a lot of little details like this as well, where we look at the angles, we see exactly what exists, what doesn't, and then we make our decisions. So like I said, with little Jonas Enroth is only going to lean, a tiny little bit. He knows, hey, if the puck misses me, it's going wide. That's how much we say, big, or ice in his veins. So just really being composed in there. This is a kid from the OHL. We did a camp in Finland a couple weeks ago. So Justin Fazio. And all we're doing here is kind of looking at, he's starting to understand how little he has to move. What Thomas Magnusson is showing him as well is that, the actual net, if you look to his blocker side, becomes smaller. The angle isn't the same. And why does this mean anything to us? Well, I'll give you a quick example. When Jonas Enroth is a net, and it's a power play, and the puck goes out to the right side, and left-handed, right-handed shot, doesn't matter. First off, he wants to force guys to shoot across the grain, right? Chances are there's going to be more traffic here than the inside. Second of all, percentage of the net is smaller on this side than it is on this side. So he's always going to, with that information, if possible, he's going to lean to the inside, to the outside here, and force the guy to go this way. So if he doesn't see anything, the percentages are in his side. Okay, so it all becomes math. But that's where, again, the game has evolved to the point where guys have such understanding of their net coverage. We have certain rules, like on odd man rushes, we want to play toes at the top of the crease, even man rushes, we'll go heels at the top of the crease, right? But you start hearing coaches now say, I like him playing in the blue, right? Sean Burke, when he got Smitty, what did he do? He kept him right in the blue paint, right? He plays almost on his goal line now. Henrik Lundqvist, his game is composed of being on the post, halfway in the middle of the crease, back to his post. That's it, right? So they're really trying to get this economy of movement. Less is more. Make the shooter beat us rather than, old school, we're kind of all over the place and out of control. We might make some cool looking saves, but the reality of it is we've made life a lot harder on ourselves than what it had to be. So we come up with these different positional charts, and the ones that I'll just talk about is basically from the hash mark down, we can have a goaltender that just, guys are going to play a different way. From the hash mark down, I could literally go to my post, kind of square up, and my squareness with my left leg is going to be dependent on backside pressure. If there's backside pressure, this leg would turn a little bit because that allows my hips to open up and make a quicker movement, right? If there's no backside pressure, then I could square up more. But these guys understand any movement that they have, why they're standing where they are on the ice, right? And if you have from the hash mark down, there's a point you could literally stand on your post like this, put your pads together, and just shoot all day, and there's no net to shoot at. But a lot of young guys don't understand that. They'll come out and be more aggressive on it, and they'll give themselves a big 5-hole. And if we took a picture, you'd actually be covering all the way into the corner, right? And because you've come out further, what happens if there's a pass now? Now I have a further movement to get back, and I've completely opened up my game, right? So that's what they're really trying to limit. So you'll have guys that will go skate on the post, like Lundqvist, Smitty, or you'll have guys that go, we call it overlap, where that skate goes right outside the post, so they just feel a little bit more free to butterfly, but they're still not more aggressive, because being aggressive in that angle buys you nothing. So 2 different types of goalies. Guys are going to have different strategies, but what I'm getting at is they actually, we take pictures and they look at this and they come up with what works for them. So let's watch just a quick clip here of Michael Hutchinson. This is what we do at a camp. So he's going to look at, we're going to take the puck in all these different zones, and he's going to look from the puck's point of view, because remember, the puck's point of view is different than the shooter's point of view, right? So we're going to take it from the puck's point of view, and he's going to start understanding exactly how much net space he covers. We often say that every position you're in or every save selection you have is a tool. You pull it out of your toolbox, and there's strengths and weaknesses to every single tool that you have. And your job is to understand that. So whichever tool that he pulls out, he knows exactly, okay, this is the coverage I have, this is how much I would have to move, and this is how I can utilize it best. So from these different pictures and video, he's going to make the determination of, how he wants to play and how he's most comfortable in playing, and quite frankly, what position you end up sometimes just by accident.
So, toes on top, heels on top.
So now he's just starting to get that understanding of, hey, if I'm more aggressive, how much bigger do I look in the net? How much more coverage do I have?
Toes on top, 3/4 crease. Toes on top, butterfly, up, 3/4 crease, butterfly.
So you can see how big the goalie is in the net and how little we have to move. And sometimes, by us over moving or opening up, that's what creates space, and we actually make our own mistakes. I'm sure the next presentation is going to be on goalie equipment's too big or something like that. But in conclusion, this is how we roll as goalie coaches and when we do our video work. Skating, and more skating. If there's anything that I can you guys take away from this, is just make them skate all the time. Think outside the box. The game is constantly evolving. You guys are smart guys, smart girls. Don't get into this mindset of like, well, they're goalies, they're freaking weird. Don't talk to them. Okay, you guys know what you're doing, and make sure that goalie has a game plan and some type of positional frame work. It's no different than your team system. And with that, my friends, that's all I got for you. So I'll be around all day, and we'll hang out and talk shop and have some fun. Thank you.